is, if you are on the podcast, I just want you to know I am using a model that I've drawn on my chalkboard on YouTube. You can find it at youtube.com/Carina Gardner if you want to watch it. I just think if you're visual, which you're a designer, so you probably are, if you go and subscribe on the YouTube channel, you're going to get more videos that are a little bit more visual. So you're just going to get a little bit more out of them. If you're on the podcast today, just hanging out and listen with me, I'm going to do my very best to explain everything that I'm showing on the chalkboard. Okay? All right, so really quick, this model and framework I'm going to talk to you guys about today is my framework, and we have a free PDF for it. We're here to help you learn design, and if you'd like that PDF, all you have to do is write the word learn over on my Instagram channel at Carina Gardner. If you do that, we will DM you this PDF, okay? It's just totally free. So what I want to talk about today is this is my 5 levels of design, and I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I just would like to dig into the bottom 2 levels, which is new and learning a little bit today. So if you've never seen this model before and you haven't gotten the PDF, just so you know, we start at the bottom. So when we're new, we're at the very bottom of this pyramid, right? By the way, the PDF has salaries, and so it tells you how much you're making in these different models. Learning is the next one up. And then experienced, then expert, and then brand. And what I want to talk about today is kind of the expectations around new and learning. You know, so often I see brand new designers get really frustrated because they're not making very many sales at the beginning, or they have they're kind of a hot start. They do it really, really quick, and then they stop. They kind of give up. They don't do what they need to be doing. And it's really too bad in my mind, because learning is a stage where things do not happen quickly. Everybody thinks that a design business or any kind of business should happen quickly, and it rarely ever does, really, really rarely. So I am here to tell you that new is an okay stage to be in, and it's an okay stage to be in for a little while, for however long it takes you. So what happens in the new stage? We are learning software. We're understanding shops and platforms. Those are the things that are happening in learning, and new, not learning, new. And we are not really making very much money, okay? Now, the learning stage lasts a lot longer than people realize. You guys know I talk to a lot of designers every month, but every year, right? And I run into a lot of designers that think they're experienced. So I think the reason they feel like they're qualified as experienced because they are a freelancer or they got a graphic design degree. And that's usually not enough to be in the experienced category. So I can usually determine based on how much they say they've been making, how much sales they've been getting, and very often they don't have sales. What I run into actually a lot is freelancers. So I'll run into graphic design freelancers, and they will think that they're inexperienced because they have a graphic design degree and they're making some money being a freelancer. Experienced is really getting into that 6-figure mode. And I'm really looking for steady sales. Freelance is not steady sales. I mean, unless you literally have a client that consistently feeds you things to do, it's not steady sales. So if you're doing a job for one company, and then a few weeks later, you do a job for another company, that is called freelance, okay? And it is not steady because they don't have consistent work for you, all right? Now, am I anti-freelance? No, I love freelance. We get a lot of freelance work for our designers because it is helpful in the overall journey. It makes you a better designer. It makes you think about deadlines differently. It makes you more client-based, so you understand sales better. So we love freelance. But I talk to designers who have graphic design degrees, and then they're doing freelance, and they think they're set and ready to go. And then they're confused that they haven't made more money. You know, they tend to be stuck between $30,000 and $50,000. And I'm like, the reason you're stuck is because you haven't created steady sales. One of the hardest things, and I personally know this because I did freelance while I was teaching at the University of Minnesota, is when you're doing a freelance job, if you were to get consistent income from it, then while you're working on that job, you would also be working on making sure your next job was coming in. Well, that's really difficult for designers, right? It's difficult to be doing a job and then also working and selling yourself in order to get another job so it happens automatically. So what happens is you do a job and then there's a period of no money and then you get another job, right? So you're kind of like you have all these breaks in between because you have to like fulfill, sell, fulfill, right? And so what I'm here to say is that there are other ways to be creating income as a designer. That to me is like an icing on the cake situation, like freelance. But if that's the main thing you're doing, guys, you're not an experienced, unless you're doing like $200,000 a year as a freelancer, and some people do that, okay? That's experienced. If you are not doing that, I highly recommend you think about where you really are in that learning stage. And usually you need more learning, you need some more education to get you to the next area, okay? That's the truth of it, okay? So I love these two stages. I actually think it's a really fun journey to be, especially in the new stage because it's exciting and new. And then the learning stage because there's a lot of fulfillment and growth that happens during that time period, much more than what happens between experienced and expert. There is growth and learning. It's just different, and definitely different between expert and brand, okay? If you want this PDF and you want to learn a little bit more, I have other episodes where I've talked about this before, but I also recommend you just grab the PDF. It's free. Go to @Carina Gardner on my Instagram feed and just put the word learn in the comments and we'll just send you the PDF. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I'm so grateful to have you guys here. Make sure and subscribe if you're on the YouTube channel. If you're on the podcast, I would love for you to leave me a review. And you guys all have a great day. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.